Hello, everyone. Long time no see. Welcome to another amazing episode of Empowerment Unplugged by Vicky. Pregnant or going to be, and you're confused? What do you ask your doula? How do I vet for a doula? How do I know if the doula is the right fit for me? No two doulas are the same. In this episode, we will be having a few of my doulas that work for my company come on, Esty Gonsfried, Daniela Lerner, Ora Fortgang, to discuss how to navigate your search for the perfect doula. Having the doula that is right for you, it can really make your birth experience and pregnancy/postpartum the best that it can be. We also have created an amazing PDF that is downloadable with some questions free for everyone. You don't have to use our services to help you navigate through this process. Go check it out at www.vickydoula.services to download your PDF today. So, you're pregnant, trying to figure out, should you hire a doula? Should you not? What does a doula provide for you? And it could be very daunting trying to figure out what is the right doula for you. Now, just because one doula is popular or everybody's using them doesn't mean that that doula is the best fit for you. So how do we get to narrow down what works for you? Here in today's episode, we're diving into that. Like I said earlier, we created a PDF, a free downloadable PDF that's on our website, together with Toby Deitch. She's a gentle birth educator. She was in our episode number 3 because we realized there was a need in our community in regards to finding the right doula for you and what is the right questions to ask. The beauty of the doula world is that we all don't work the same. Besides, for us at Vicky's Doula Services, we all work the same in regards to we have a certain format. What would you guys say is the key points to hiring a doula? What you think is important to ask when you're hiring a doula?
At what point do you come?
What does that mean? At what point in the labor do you come? We've heard of someone saying a doula didn't show up until pushing or didn't show up till 6 centimeters. So what one doula may do may be different than what another doula does. Some doulas show up right away as soon as you're admitted to the hospital. And then, or some people even want to help you in early stages of laboring at home. And then there's other doulas that won't come until you're in active labor. Active labor could mean 6 centimeters for some doulas. And then active labor could mean for other doulas 411. So understanding when the doula is going to come and when you need that doula the most is a super important question. What do you offer? What do you offer for your package?
What services will you give me? We have so many clients, we sit down, we talk to them, and they want to know, obviously, right? When you come in, what do you do for me? Are you there from when I hire you? Like, what is your full package deal?
I always ask people, what are you looking for in a doula? Everybody hires a doula for different reasons. Like some people want advocacy, some people want physical support, and some people want informational support, and some people want everything. I mean, we do everything, right? But for some people, the support is more focused on one specific thing. So you have to make sure that your doula aligns with what you need.
There's many doulas that just provide labor support only for the labor itself. Then there's doulas that also provide prenatal support. And an example of something that we offer is, like you said, you made a key point of we meet with our clients. So there's a lot of times that doulas book over the phone, jot down your name, and you don't see the person until the birth itself. We actually meet with the client itself. So that's a good question to ask is, do you meet with the client? Many times meeting with a person and seeing if you vibe with them makes a big difference. The famous joke, what happens if like I have a giant nose and it's very distracting to you? Now, that doesn't mean I'm not a good doula. I just,
Right.
that won't work for me. It was making sure that your values and the doula aligns and you feel comfortable because birth is the most vulnerable time of your life. And it's something that is sacred. And you want to make sure that that doula is going to keep
Sure.
your birth experience and your pregnancy, if they're helping you through your pregnancy, sacred and your questions private, etc.
The question about the package could be if my labor is very long, how do you take a break? Do you have someone else step in?
Exactly. So that's also a good one. What happens if my labor takes very long? So many times people assume, I find that doulas are here just for the labor itself, but what happens if my labor is very short? I'm so happy you're discussing this because labor is being very short is actually amazing for us doulas. Not necessarily because, yay, we get to go home early, but it also means that we prepped you, your body was prepped prior, and you got to go through this experience a lot faster and not dragged out. Many times when a labor is very long, it could be positional. It could be the body wasn't 100% ready yet. It could be so many different things. And when you're paying for a doula, you're not paying just for the labor. You're paying for the countless hours of your doula being on call, being available for you at 2 a.m., her not going away for Shabbos or the weekends, her being available for you at all times. And in a scenario where people forget, what happens if your labor turns into 17 hours, 36 hours, especially inductions that could take a very long time? How does that work? So that leads up to, do you have a backup? Because by us, for example, after 12 hours, we do have in our contract that if we need to switch over, one of us from our team will come and take you over, so you get a fresh face doula that is not tired and that can continue giving you that continuous support. And for us, it's at no cost to you. It's part of the package. We take the bite for that cost, but we do have that backup system. Now, where a doula is working solo, many times they work with other doulas to help them with that. So it's, who is your backup? Does that backup also align with you? What does that backup bring? So I think that's a super important question.
Also, adding to that, a doula working countless hours. I mean, like, I don't have a backup. I'm going to work for 3 days straight. That's not a positive. At the end of the day, we're human beings and we burn out and we're going to give it our all. But at one point, you don't have anything left to give. So I feel like a backup is super important, and it's benefiting you more than it's benefiting the doula,
Correct.
because you want fresh energy in the room.
Correct. And the same way I've been at births where shift changes are happening and nurses are switching out and doctors are switching out, the same way they're switching out, we also sort of got to switch out, because, and many times we are up with our clients, or our clients not realizing we're up with them 2-3 days beforehand, not sleeping properly because they're having on and off contractions, or it's almost their due date. So like, I actually just had it the other night where a mom was like not 100% sure she's in labor, she's having contractions. So the whole night I was twisting and turning because, oh, maybe we're going in now, maybe we're going in now, and then she didn't go in. But
It happens all the time.
till we get to the birth, we're the same. We're on the same page. We live through our clients.
Yeah, but we push through that,
Yes, of course. But what I'm saying is we live through our
Oh,
clients.
absolutely.
After a good 17 hours or 13 hours or 12 hours, if we need a break, it's not that we're trying to maneuver our way out. It's just that we want the best for our clients and we want a fresh face and we want you to be able to have the best experience you can.
Absolutely.
Another great question is Shabbos and Yom Tov. Do you come in on Shabbos, Yom Tov? Do we pick you up from the hospital, or I mean, do we pick you up on the way, or
Right.
that's important also to ask.
So I find holiday Shabbos Yom Tov is an important one. A lot of people don't think about that. Like, do you have your phone on you on Shabbos? Do we have to pay for a taxi like you had?
Right. Right.
Sh-
Worked out beautiful.
Or actually, we got a call that there were 2 clients that needed backup because their doula wasn't available for them on Purim. So many times we've had that before, like Yom Kippur, holidays, where the client may not have known that the doula wasn't available, calls up the doula, and the doula says they're not available. Now, if you knew that prior, listen, that's important. But it is important for you to have that transparency with your clients. If you have a weekend or you can't come to a birth, not to leave your clients hanging, because it's really not fair for them either to be left hanging and then have to pay 2 people, or many times they have left deposit with the other doula, and then it just puts us in a sticky situation also on us because we don't want to take another doula's client. So make sure to be transparent about your wants, your needs. Can I call you for questions in the middle of the night? That's another one. I've heard of some doulas that just are not available as much during, like, over phone or for questions or 2 a.m. and other doulas are available. So it's really understanding what is your availability for me.
Also, many doulas start taking more money, like past a certain amount of time, and to be upfront about that.
So that's another good point. Is after a certain amount of hours, do you charge per hour? At least you know what you're getting into. So you may have one doula that's charging you, I'm just throwing out a random number, $1,200, but then after 6 hours, she starts charging you $100 an hour. So then the time you're done, the expensive doula that you thought was expensive is actually cheaper than the one that's charging you $1,200. plus the taxi, plus the $100 past the 6 hours.
I've heard of people paying like thousands of extra dollars for their doulas.
Because they didn't realize how long it was
Yeah.
gonna take.
Yeah. So
And then it's way over their budget.
So what's in your bag? Do I have to bring anything? If one client likes a certain thing and she has her specific, I know that like some clients love good massages and they love like a massage gun. Does your doula have one? Should we bring one? I've had a lot of people ask me like, hey, what's in your bag? Should I bring my ball? Should I not bring my ball? Luckily today in lots of hospitals, they have the balls and the peanuts and yeah,
Which I love.
which is
Because it wasn't always like that.
no. But so, it's a great question to ask.
What do I have to bring and what do you bring?
Correct.
And if there's something specific that you want, I always tell that's part of our prenatal
Right.
session and our birth plan when they're filling out the form is there something specific you like? I remember I had a client that was obsessed with the smell of orange throughout her pregnancy, and she's like, I just love anything orange essential oil, orange drink, orange anything, even though orange is not really such a common thing. I went and I got an orange essential oil, and she loved the fact that she had that little touch of thing. Her husband was, I am so sick of orange, but it was just like the ongoing joke. So it's getting to know what works for one person may not work for another. Some people want quiet throughout their whole entire birth. Other person wants positive affirmation. Someone else wants constant touch.
people want distractions. Knowing what you want, do it.
I actually had recently a client I found that so fun. When the Olympics were on, she was watching the Olympic game and ice skating, and throughout the contractions, she was still talking about like the Olympic and whatever in the game. Look at her outfit. But if that's what works for you, let's do it. It was so fun.
I think sometimes the moms who've had kids before might have a better idea of what they want or need.
Right.
But it's the first time moms who don't even know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's where
Or what
it's
they want,
important to navigate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the beauties of when they first have their intake form, they have a bunch of options there where people don't even realize that these things are options. Like, do you want to wear your own clothing? Do you want dim lighting? Do you want essential oils? And we always tell them, like, it's not a clear-cut plan. If you check off that you wanted something and in the end you don't like it, it's not like we're sticking you to it, but it's more of just opening up your mind of what can happen and what is offered. And that's why for every birth, I just bring my giant roller bag, which all of us have, with a bunch of different items in it, because we never know what's gonna work. And no two births are the same. We've even had repeat clients that what worked for one birth didn't work for the other, and she was, I always have water births or always this, and then it's just not working out. And then she ended up in a different position and it worked. So it doesn't necessarily mean that because it worked by one, it's gonna 100% work by another.
Absolutely.
Also making sure that your doula takes your specific insurance.
If she's an insurance.
Correct. There's so many different managed Medicaid plans that, you can't assume this because she's covered by Medicaid that she'll take, your specific insurance. There's Fidelis, there's Health Plus, MVP, United. There's so many. So just make sure that the specific insurance, that your doula takes that one, because then you'll run into an issue later.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, that's really opening up a can of worms.
Yeah.
Insurance. So insurance a little bit more complicated just because of the fact that when we first started Medicaid, we were able to bill anyone. And then as of April of last year, they started getting even more, and it's not the same platform. It's now you have to also be approved by each individual insurance, and each individual insurance now is cutting back on who they're approving, who they're not approving. There's a lot of people that are not getting approved. Each one has a different billing situation. It ends up being a little bit complicated, and that's why I find, unfortunately, between the cost, between the billing, between the fact that they don't really pay much, unfortunately, that there is a lot of doulas out there that are not approved by insurance, or the ones that do have insurance work a little differently than the average doula just because of the fact that they are trying to make up the cost of what they're losing out on. I know just in Muncie itself, there's not that many that take insurance because of that. That's why you most likely will have a harder time finding someone with insurance. And if you cannot afford the cost, now that's something that you could always speak to your doula about. If she has sliding scales, does she have payment plans? Like we have payment plans. And then there's also amazing organizations out there that do have pro bono doulas or doulas that are on a lower rate. I know in Muncie we have an organization called Shifra and Pua that they take a small amount of money. Now, You may not get the full-blown luxury experience that some doulas give, but it's still someone there for you. And then there's also many times women who are trying to get certifications, so they're willing to do it at a lower cost or at no cost to you. So always reach out to your doula. Whether you can afford it or not, reach out because we may have resources for you, so you still benefit from having so.
I can't tell you how many times I have clients call me. So, what's your stance on epidural? Whatever you
I
want.
literally have it all the time.
It's like whatever you want. Really? Because the other doula I spoke to said that she can only take me if I only
Wow.
take
Yeah, it's
if
like
I don't
emergency
do
thing now.
epidurals.
I've had someone petrified to tell me. She didn't tell me till last minute
She wants an epidural?
that she wanted epidural and she wanted her husband involved because the last doula, the last time she apparently, so she wanted epidural if needed. But she said the last time, the whole entire time, the shower is what helped her the most. So she was like, I need to talk to you about something. But like she waited till she was like right before her due date because she was petrified to like, tell me. And she's like, I hope you don't take this in the wrong way, but I really have to do this. It was a massive trigger. She starts telling me all. She goes, so like, what happens if I don't want to wear clothes in the shower afterwards? I'm like, okay, so she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, the other doula kept on shaming her and like telling her like you're not SNES. You have to wear.
That's
And she
goes
kept
back to
on
the most.
she kept on throwing a robe on her. You're not SNES. And then when she took off her tichel, then trying to smush her tichel on her, and she kept on trying to push it. And she's like, I felt like my teacher was in the room, and it triggered me so bad. And I felt so bad for her. I'm like, hello, good gosh, you're having a baby coming out of your vagina. And then the first few minutes, when we were in the shower, she was, oh, is it weird for you that my hair is shaved? Like, I don't care. Like, who cares?
Big deal.
Like,
She got so immune, like all body.
got like here. No, but she was like so nervous because of what this doula did to her.
Never make a person.
Yeah,
You probably has like, no, it's not horrible. Like, to look at vaginas. I'm like, I don't even see it anymore. I just,
This is what people.
I don't associate
yeah,
vagina.
yeah. I mean, this is like, yeah, this
This is the talk that they
is the talk. I think we should do.
last night I had somebody call me. I'm meeting her and she was like, "Oh, so what's your stance on breastfeeding?" I'm like, me personally, do if you want to, and if you don't want to, that's okay. Your kid will walk down the chuppah regardless. So your kid will have nutrition. I said, now, would I be a very amazing doula if I told you that it's okay? Don't. I'm like, no. There's obviously there's some
Pros and cons.
there's great things about breastfeeding. So if you can and you want, go for it. But if it's not in you and you don't have it and you don't want to, then don't.
Yeah, I never make that
She's like,
assumption.
wow. She's like, okay, great.
Wow.
But
The
like,
concept that doulas give their personal opinion.
it's not normal.
It's like blowing my head.
It's not normal. Also, it's like
It's
giving
not.
your own
Your own
personal
bias.
Also,
like,
I think also
It's
people
not
have to
about.
understand.
It's not
Yeah,
about
correct.
me.
It's
No,
not you.
about me.
I always tell my
That's
client, I'm like,
fine.
you're the main actress here. Like, I'm
Yep.
literally just a supporting
You are the
character.
author of your own
Right.
story.
Exactly.
I try not to give my own personal experiences.
Right.
too.
Right? Like
too.
I
Right.
have
A
to
blank
give, but
canvas.
like unless they ask me,
Right.
Right.
I won't give. And that's something I learned from Brahim Meir. Like I don't
Yeah.
Right.
I will not like it's not about me. Do you understand? My story is irrelevant.
Right.
Or when someone says, well, what would you do, Vicky? No. First, let me tell you, and especially also in my childbirth education class, is let me explain to you the pros, the cons, and why people reject it, why people say yes or no. Now, I want you to make the decision on your own.
Yeah.
Because in the end of the day, what works for one person doesn't work for another. Just because, let's say, I want to do a home birth doesn't mean that that client herself is best in home birth world. Everyone is different, and I never want them to make a decision based off of thing. Now, I'll tell them sometimes afterwards if they keep on pushing, what would you have done? But it's only after they make their decision, because I think it's super important to make sure that it aligns. And like you said, also with the formula thing, mental health is also important. I can't tell you how many times, since we are in touch with our clients many times postpartum, they know they could reach out to us for questions. I had a girl having a nervous breakdown. She couldn't handle it anymore. Girl, that is what formula is for.
So-
Take the formula. Yes, breastfeeding has amazing benefits, but if you feel like you're going to catch a nervous breakdown, we need a healthy mother, and that's what it's meant for.
I have a mom who I know very well, a good friend of mine, and she's at the point where infection after infection, and she's just so tired. And I told her, I'm like, this is it. Like, you've done everything you can.
You did your
And
best.
she's pushing through, and her baby is gaining beautifully, but she herself is just not okay anymore. And I was like, Atkan, until when are you going to do this? And she was like, you know what? I think I'm done. And I don't know what she did at this point, but she's seriously considering giving it up, and it's okay. She's done. Her baby is beautiful, 4 months, yummy girl. But at this point, like,
There's so
what
much
is she doing? She needs to sleep. She needs to be normal. She needs to feel good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So much
So,
guilt attached to that. It's sad. I never make the assumption my clients have the babies like you're gonna breastfeed. I always ask them like, "Do you want to breastfeed?"
100%.
Like it's
And I think
I
that
don't want
goes
it's
back
fine.
to the versus epidural versus
Not yeah.
natural. We're back to schedule. Yes.
I think it also goes
We're
to the
putting on
point of like
Tylenol.
choosing what vaccinations you want to give, like the Hep B or the vitamin K, and like
Right.
other people guilting you into giving things that you know yourself you don't want to give. Your doula is supporting you whatever choice you make. Like some doulas are
Right.
like, no, you have to give this, you have to give that. It's mandated. It's whatever. And really everything when it comes to your delivery is up to you. Like you have choices.
Yeah.
And your doula just has to be there supporting you, like in your choices.
I think giving them the power to choose and a voice to speak up for themselves is the greatest gift that a doula could give them.
100%.
Yeah.
It's not me being the power in the room. It's you being the power in your room and being educated.
Yeah.
And yes, there's certain times that you may not be able to voice your opinion in a scenario of, let's say, when I find typically it's when they take the baby for vitamin K or thermicin right after birth, skin to skin, because the mother just finished pushing and she may not be 100% there in her right state of mind, is where I say, if I see something happening against what the client wanted, yeah, I'll speak up for you. But like you said, it's their decision, and throughout their birth experience, empowering them to have a voice. Just this morning, I had a client feeling very uncomfortable with her provider trying to break her water prior to her having contractions, just because she wants to get the baby going. And she's like, Vicky, maybe you could talk to them.
She's not in labor.
She's not in labor. I told her, I said, no, I don't mind talking to them, because yes, I have a relationship with your provider, but in the end of the day, I think it'll be better if you go back to them and tell them how you feel. Like, tell them what's going on. Why do you feel like you shouldn't do this? And she's like, okay, like, it's not weird. I'm like, no. And she did.
And did you
And
speak to her afterwards?
I spoke to her afterward. I spoke to the client afterwards, and actually the provider told her she doesn't have to. So
We
Yeah.
create strong women by giving them voice because so many people just don't know that they
have it.
and sometimes just by asking.
So we can like empower
Because-
them to do it.
Yeah, because in a hospital setting, the doctors take over and then they just tell you.
Yeah.
But when we empower women, it's huge.
And sometimes you get the answer you wanted. Like here, she was so nervous that she's not going to get that answer because they made it seem like it has to be done today. And really, the answer was, oh no, like it's fine. You don't have to.
And I feel like when you come in strong and you know what you want, like people will respect it.
Yeah.
The doctors and the nurses respect it. Like I had a client in a very medicalized, like a very strict hospital where they have their policies. And her and her husband came in and they were like, we want golden hour honored. We want like the minimum amount of people in the room. And it's a teaching hospital. So it's like usually unrealistic. We want like literally like the doctor and a nurse, maybe a baby nurse, like that's it. And we want nobody, the baby cannot leave mom's side. And they were so strong about it. And she had the most beautiful, incredible birth. And everybody respected it. It was quiet. The room was dark. Baby stayed on mom the entire time. And I just found that so powerful because they came in so strong. They wanted this. So no matter where you have your birth, it can be the birth of your dreams, really.
Right.
Obviously, it's best to make sure that your provider's aligned and that you're not setting yourself up in a scenario where you may not get your birth of your dreams. And that's why it's important also, I feel like, to get your doula early on so you have enough time to switch providers if need be. And we could direct you based off of your birth, what you want. Oh, hey, maybe, you know what? This hospital is not really for you. Maybe we should switch to X, Y, and Z or X, Y, and Z provider because that aligns with your beliefs.
And also, if a provider makes you feel uncomfortable, there's no reason like to feel bad for switching. Like you can switch at any point. You can try to switch. I mean, if somebody else is going to take you, but
Right.
like you have to feel comfortable where you are. And if somebody is doubting you, questioning you, making you feel like your choices are not respected or heard or valid, exactly, then.
And that goes back to, I feel like, provider doula, similar situation where if your doula doesn't make you feel you could voice your opinion or you feel it's getting pushed or you feel not comfortable, same thing with your provider. If you don't feel comfortable to have that dialogue and to have that conversation as to, even if it's not necessarily rejecting something, it's like, why do I have to take a gestational diabetes test? Or why am I doing this? Or can I not do the glucose drink? Can I switch it out with grape juice or dates? Just having that simple dialogue, if you don't feel comfortable enough, that's a problem. I mean, obviously we will help you if we have no choice, and you have no choice, and you gotta, for whatever reason, stick it out with this provider. But there are providers out there that are gonna listen to you and are gonna make you feel good and is gonna work for you.
Yeah, I had a friend tell me that she hired a doula and she was just so uncomfortable with the doula the entire pregnancy. She didn't feel supported. She just didn't call a doula to her delivery.
Oh, no.
And I felt so bad for her because, like, you spent so much money to get the support, and and her doula was upset at her, like, why didn't you call me? Like, whatever. But
No. Just wow. Well, my client, where this client basically went into the hospital and went into labor. Her doula's not here. She was like, or Vicky, because she knew I was available, and I went. It is sorry, sad, especially because she paid.
yeah,
So
that's why you need to ask these questions before, like, know what you're getting yourself
You
into.
know that not every person is fit for every person.
Absolutely.
100%.
So I think Brooke
Right.
was the one that said it. Like, some people want a Bobby doula, like a grandma. Some people want a mommy doula. Some people want a friend. Like, you have to know who you're
Mhm.
getting into, into this with.
Not just hiring a doula, I have a doula. It's paying attention to, do I connect with this person? Are they going to support
Right.
me? Do I feel safe? Do I feel comfortable?
That's it.
Safe is the biggest word.
And have your husband join you, like, when you meet your doula. I always tell my
Right.
clients, like, bring your husbands. Let them see, like, they're going to be in the room with me too. I want them to feel comfortable. So it's a family experience.
I encourage that when they call me. So when we meet up, should I bring my husband with me? Absolutely.
Let
It's
him
a
feel
positive.
comfortable.
Yeah.
If you're gonna hire me, both of you have to feel comfortable. Like
And grill me. Like, come with a list of questions. And
Right.
I love that.
By the way, we love talking about anything related to birth. So, like, grill us all the time. Ask us questions.
Like, the clients that come in with so many questions, oh my gosh, I love them for it. Like, we can sit and talk for an hour. It's amazing. And then sometimes I have to come up with the questions for them. Like, I sit down, I'm like, you want to ask me if I come to Shabbos, on Shabbos? Like, you want to know
Also, me too, because we absolutely do. So
That's topic for us, so bring it on.
Bring it on. Exactly. I had a client sit down with me. She's like, it's so hard. You probably have to hear everybody's birth stories. I'm like, I love hearing birth stories. Tell me your birth stories.
Yeah.
But then I also like when people say birth stories, especially in my birth education class. We do private one-on-one for our clients who want it. And the reason for that is I actually just had one yesterday where I was like, throw at me your stories. And a lot of her fears and a lot of her stories that she was throwing at me that was told by this person and that person, I wasn't there, but I know it's 100% bogus.
Like, some
Just based
outside
off of the
noise.
story, like, maybe, like, there was something to it, but the way the stories just went just didn't make sense. And, like, she had such a fear. A good story was she said something about in regards to, like, delayed cord clamping. So when we were discussing delayed cord clamping, she's like, oh, but I'm nervous about that. I don't want to do delayed cord clamping. I'm like, why? Oh, because my neighbor said that she had someone that delayed cord clamping and the baby didn't breathe until the cord was cut
Huh?
because she did delayed cord clamping.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. But she really had this fear, and it's a legitimate fear. And what do you mean? So she's, what are you saying? You're saying it's not accurate? Maybe it's accurate. The baby didn't breathe until they cut the cord, but it has nothing to do with the fact that the cord was still attached. So it's just understanding the story. Or another story where she said that was the first time mom just sitting on our couch and the baby just came out without pushing. Like, there's no such thing. Even baby number 11, 12, 13, 14, which I've been by, maybe the push is not that much. Maybe it's but they push. Baby, you know the baby's coming out. There's no such thing as a baby just sliding out while you're chilling on your
So
couch.
I had a client that was really weird and interesting to me. She didn't feel any of her contractions. She was on Pitocin.
Yeah.
Contractions. You had that already?
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Fascinating. But when it came to pushing and transition,
You gotta.
she felt it. Like, you do feel something.
At one point, you feel something.
You feel something. There's no thing as baby just flying out. No.
No.
That's a myth.
Yeah.
Biggest myth out there.
Yeah.
I always tell clients, I really wish
You're really great, but
Hell yeah, no one else is
go
doing that.
take a nap.
Yeah, okay, like when other, like, your water just like splashes out in the grocery store. That's like what you see in the movies.
Yeah, no.
That's gonna happen to you most of the time.
Guys, go to the grocery, go shopping, you're fine.
It's not exploding anymore.
It's not exploding. It usually explodes.
Good.
If it does, I find that it usually happens based off of my experience when you feel you're in a safe place in bed, when you're sleeping, when you're relaxed, in an area that's like calming.
Yeah.
That's what I find. Not so much.
Yeah.
Or that also, but I'm saying
Yeah.
It's not just happening while you're grocery shopping or you're in Target.
It can. Actually, it can.
can.
I know somebody.
But I'm saying realistically.
I worked in a grocery many years ago, and this mom, she was in the juice aisle, and her water broke, and
That's because she was in the juice aisle.
right. It was a lot. It was a lot of liquid. It's just like seltzers. No, there was a lot of liquid on the floor, and she felt so embarrassed, and she didn't know because nobody paid attention. But what she did was, is that, I mean, back in, I'm telling you, long ago, back in the day when apple juice came in a glass bottles, she just took the apple juice and like swing it on the floor. And she told, she told her like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I dropped the apple juice," and she just walked out. I mean, it's kind of a very
But it's very like it doesn't happen often.
when you're comfortable and your body is safe and you feel safe in a safe
Maybe she
environment.
felt safe in the grocery.
Maybe
Maybe that's where she
have
felt
to say
in the juice aisle.
but still,
It's a safe place for many people.
yeah.
I get it.
But it can happen.
But it's not the most common thing.
No.
It doesn't happen to everybody. Most of the time, it's like a little bit of like a trickle in a leak or.
That's another myth. A lot of people think like, oh, my water didn't break because I didn't see a big splash.
Yeah.
It's not always a splash. Sometimes it's just trickling.
Yeah, we have so many moms like, I don't know if I peed myself or my water broke.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's you
They
peed
did
yourself.
pee themselves.
Sometimes your water broke.
And that's okay, guys. People pee themselves.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not on purpose. They may not even know they pee themselves, but
just do the sniff test and find out. It's not
or ask your doula, and your doula will help you.
Exactly. I've gotten so many pictures.
Yeah.
My water. Is this my mucus plug?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
Okay,
always able.
We've seen it all.
Exactly.
And
And
then
the other thing, like, don't be shy. Like, literally, don't be shy.
Right.
Like,
you don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy. We've seen it all, and we don't remember it all. The only thing we remember is about your face, who you are, and the birth experience you had.
energy, and that's it.
Literally.
This all comes back to, being comfortable with your doula because all these questions and all these things do come up. So, you got to be comfortable with us, So if you're comfortable, then I promise you will not have a hard time asking these kind of questions or sending pictures.
Exactly.
That goes back to also in regards to what you were saying earlier. We're not anyone's mashgichem. Whatever happens in the room stays in the room.
Not a rabbi, a mashgiach, or a dayan.
We don't judge.
We don't
We
judge.
respect everyone and what their beliefs are, but we're also not gonna push anything on anyone. So whatever you want to take place in the birth room will happen.
Your doula has to be the most non-judgmental, neutral person in the room.
Right.
So.
And if you do want somebody kind of like mashgiach-wise, then that's another thing to ask your doula, prior to hiring her.
You could ask her.
I want someone who's going to be on top of me, or I don't want somebody to be on top of me. And
I've had clients ask me, like, remind me to cover up, like, so my husband can come in. Or
That's okay.
yeah.
We have no problem with that. If you want to cover, you can make sure that your feet are covered and you're covered so your husband can walk in. That's okay too. But tell us, because
Otherwise we won't.
don't assume that everyone is the same.
be clear cut of what you want. And this is why you meet your doula before and you come with all these questions. And by the time your birth happens, everything is going to be as you want it to be.
And another good question to ask is, do you offer postpartum support? And in what regards do you offer postpartum support? Now, there's going to be something called postpartum doulas. Postpartum doulas go to the house. They help with sometimes light cooking, light housework, and they watch the baby, sometimes for a few hours. There's a lot of also misconception on what a postpartum doula does sometimes, because there's postpartum doulas that are like, I only support you over the phone. But typically a postpartum doula that is certified does all those things. Light housework, helps you navigate postpartum, may come for a few hours a day with holding your baby and doing things like that. And that's something that's scheduled. I find it's very typical to what the Jewish community have, like night nurses or nurses. It's important to have postpartum support. It's highly recommended. In regards to us, we provide postpartum support over the phone if it's needed. They could always call us. They always know that we're available for them. If they need extra help or resources to tikfasenu or to a lactation consultant, we're always available for that. And that's another thing we could add in. Actually, this week we just added to our birth packages free prenatal lactation classes with Eliana Friedman. She's a IBCLC and an NP. She's the owner of Little Feeders. She also has a host supplement line to help with people who are trying to build their milk supply. And the reason why prenatal, you're going to be like, why do we need to do a lactation class beforehand, before having a baby? But it's the same thing as birth education. It's preparing our bodies so that hopefully we may not even need a lactation consultant after. And if we do, you now develop a relationship with someone who is a pro in this, and you could have that extra resource. And the amazing part about her specifically is she's also an NP, so she could also help with any kind of neonatal care, anything if you need a prescription filled or anything like that. She does also body work, so it's one nice big package. She has a few packages actually that she offers, but she does weigh-ins, the whole 9 yards. So it's really at the comfort of your own home and that support.
I don't think you mentioned that we do postpartum visits.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You can go down, we have
Getting
your
to it.
birth, and we, help you with some breastfeeding if you have.
If needed, basic breastfeeding things.
Just get you a gift.
Who doesn't want a gift?
Right.
And if we can't meet you in person, we'll send it through the mail. But it's just more of our clients knowing that we're here for them. And if they need anything, reach out. Now, reach out to us.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you don't reach out to us, we may assume that you just don't want to reach out. It's not that we're not thinking of you, because we think of our clients all the time. Many times, no two people are the same. So some people want to constantly be speaking to their doula, and there's other people that just want to be left alone, especially postpartum. We don't want to bother you when your schedule is so cuckoo and you're trying to navigate postpartum period. So reach out to us if you have a question or if you need extra support, because we may not necessarily, it's not that we're trying to avoid you, it's just that's just how it is. And I find that sometimes the client may feel that, oh, I didn't realize that I could reach out to you, or
We don't want to be that annoying person that calls you like, how are you? We don't want to be like your mother-in-law. Are you feeling anything? Are you in labor yet?
yeah.
We just
because it's your due date. We all know that you know that it's your due date, or postpartum. We all know that you're not sleeping well. We're not going to make you crazy. We're here to support you. So what kind of preparation do you do for your bodies beforehand? Clients, a birth ball. They start off with their birth ball. We help them with some basic preparation, such as the mile circuit, giving them the tools, navigation of different holistic approaches as well to get your body ready, to get your cervix ready, get your baby in a good position, because yes, there's going to be a lot of stories where I didn't do anything and it went amazing. But preparing your body prior to, I find that the clients that do that have much smoother labors and faster labors. And they don't even realize it, that it's because of the prior work that they did to their bodies.
We can generally tell who preps and who doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
You can see, clearly. Yeah. So listen to your doulas.
That's it.
We're not telling it to you because we want you to be all nice and fit. Trust me, look at me. I'm not pro gym or anything like that. If you are and it makes you feel good, then you should do it. Yes. But what I'm saying is, when we're telling you to do these things, it's because it's for your best interest and it's for you having a smoother delivery in the long run.
All goes back to your doula cares for you and wants the best for you and wants you to have the most amazing experience.
Yeah. That's another thing. You think your doula forgets about you. I remember every single one of my clients, and I think about them all the time. And sometimes, they probably moved on way past, and I'll still think, oh my gosh, how is she? How's her baby?
That's why I love seeing them in the groceries.
I'm not gonna greet you in the grocery store.
Yeah, we won't greet you, but I've had it. They'll say hi to me.
Maybe I'll see you in the juice aisle.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I won't greet you, not because I don't want to, but because if
we don't know, you don't exactly.
But I'll see you.
We keep your privacy unless 100%. You make it public that we are.
That's another thing. Your doula is not telling anybody about you. The trust there should be very strong, I guess.
Correct.
Nobody knows your birth story. Nobody knows that you were her client. There has to be that.
Unless you publicly announce it.
Unless you.
That's okay.
Yeah,
we're fine with that.
You. It's coming from you. But we don't discuss it between each others. We don't say names. We don't. Even my husband, I think, doesn't know my clients.
Nothing. No.
Nothing.
It is HIPAA.
Nothing. It's a client privilege.
Should we talk?
Whatever you say stays between us.
Sacred.
It's sacred. It goes back to that word, sacred.
Right. Even in our group chat,
when we have a question.
If we have a question, it's not Connie, Surrey, whatever. It's my client, and this is it. There's total privacy.
I actually had recently where my husband was in show for a kiddish, and this guy that he went to for the kiddish happened to have been my client. My husband had no clue that it's my client.
I've had that before.
And it was so funny to me, and I didn't realize that it's what
they knew that he's your husband.
Yeah. They didn't know. I don't think they knew.
Oh no! So I actually had a scenario where they actually went over to my husband and they're like, "Oh, by the way, your wife is the best." Oh, is she? I didn't know.
like, if you don't tell him, he won't know.
By yourself.
But it's okay. If you see my husband, you could tell him that his wife is the best.
Please do.
Please do, because they really work.
Tell my whole family.
I've had that weeks later. My husband would come and be like, he'd come over and be like, hey, you had this guy as a client. I'm like, he's like, why did you tell me? I'm like, because it's none of your business. You know? And then that's that.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to say, let's quickly gloss over red flags. Not many red flags, but there's one thing that I want to specifically discuss that I find that we get a lot of questions for this specific thing, and that is checking.
Oh, yeah.
Can you check to see how dilated I am? Or my doula checks, and I feel best with checking.
We're talking about
What-
vaginal checks.
Vaginal checks. Now, yes, but let me make it very clear, no matter how much, whether you like it, you don't like it, it's convenient for you. In the end of the day, it is out of scope of practice for a doula to check. The same way we advocate for our providers to check only when necessary, minimally, etc., it is not the place for a doula to check. Now, you're going to say, well, how do I know when I have to go to the hospital? There is many other ways to know when is the right time to go to the hospital. There is many indications, and that's something that your doula could go through with you. But there is a lot of things that we're inviting, and that's a whole subject in itself in regards to checking, in regards to infections, unnecessary things that could happen in between then, whether it's sometimes
false. Like,
Yeah.
false measurements. And we've heard that before, where, let's say, for example, we had a mom that ran to Good Sam because she couldn't make it to her hospital because she thought she was further along than she was. They checked her and she was like 3 to 4 centimeters when this lady thought she was like 6 to 8 centimeters.
She was very upset because they admitted her because she was already 4 centimeters.
Then,
And she did not want to be in the hospital after 4 centimeters.
she wanted to be by her provider, which was by Northern Westchester.
I think if you really want to get checked, you go to your doctor.
That is what your provider is for. Exactly. If you want to get checked, and that's okay. Call up your provider, ask your provider if you could come down, you could come and get checked, because that's really their scope of practice. The same way you don't ask your doula to deliver your baby. It's just 2 separate roles. So that is a red flag. That is something that should not be even offered or asked for. It's like I
Or
said,
like a doula giving you medical advice, where it's not giving you information about different things by telling you do this, don't do that.
a
Don't
doula is
go
here to
get another
educate.
ultrasound. Yeah, like I can educate you, but I can't tell you what to do.
Right.
No doula should tell you what to do medically. That's for your midwife or doctor.
Or telling you to go against medical advice.
But going back to vaginal checks for a second, not even EMTs are allowed to. The only people who are allowed to do vaginal checks, and not even bodecas, and like really not even somebody who was trained by somebody. No, if you have a degree that's CNM, and
Midwife.
and like midwife,
Some
doctor,
RNs can,
Some RNs
under
do
the
it.
guidance of.
but I'm saying those are the ones that are allowed.
But
Like,
while they're in the role of that. So, for example, I know RNs that are doulas. Now, as a doula, they're not supposed to be doing that.
Sure.
As a RN, they can. So I know certain RNs who are very careful with their license, and they say, as a doula, I am not the same way your
depends what
doula.
hat they're wearing.
For example, we're going to talk about IVs, right? I'm not going to go now to the hospital and start poking my client and putting an IV in. I watch all the time nurses trying to find the line, and I'm like, oh, right there. But I can't say anything because I am there as a scope as a doula. I'm not there as a scope as EMS or midwife assist or phlebotomist or whatever it is.
Right.
You need to stay in your role. So yes, having a doula with many hats is it's great because it just gives you more knowledge. And we could, especially in our practice, when we have so many doulas with different roles, we get to feed off each other with our experiences, which is amazing. But it's not because we're using now those tools to then go and do X, Y, and Z.
Your doula needs to know what hat she's wearing when servicing you.
Correct.
I will say though that I don't think anybody goes into this becomes a doula because they want to do any harm, or even just for financial reasons. Like I think whoever goes into becomes a doula does so because they care deeply about women.
Sure.
They're just they want to do this. And if a doula ends up messing up and doing things that are out of the scope of practice, it's not because they're bad people. It's because they're uninformed,
they're trying to help,
or they're trying to help, and they don't.
Or the client wants it.
Yeah, yeah. But a doula should know better. and should know what is in the scope of practice. But, I still think that, we're not generalizing like there are bad doulas or good doulas.
Or at least the reason why this is being brought up is because at least we want, back to informed decision making, our clients to be educated and our viewers to be educated of what's allowed and what's not. So, for example, I had once a client that came over to me and asked me, "Can I decline vaginal checks from you?" And I told her straight out, "We don't do that." And she was shocked. She thought doulas do that. And she told me, "Oh, okay, good, because my last doula who did a vaginal check on me, it actually hurt and it was very uncomfortable." So that is not shared decision making, because that doula was doing vaginal checks on a client that did not want vaginal checks and it hurt her. So now this is where it's the fine line. And I've had other people, we could flip it to the other side, where told me, "Well, this person is trained and she's blah, blah, blah." And I actually love knowing where I'm holding. Fine. As long as you understand the risks, the benefits, go right ahead. You could do that if that's what you want. But I just want to make a general rule for everyone so they can understand it really isn't in the scope. Now, if she's doing it on her own because she's trained or whatever, and you're okay with that and you understand the risks involved, that's okay too, I guess. The same way it's okay for some people to do free birth. Now, would I recommend it? No. But
Okay, though.
I wouldn't be okay with it, but someone else can.
Right.
I don't have to support that, but I could also educate the pros and the cons of what a free birth is. And if they go on to do it themselves, we've had people who called us about free birth.
Right.
We didn't take them on.
Scary territory.
Yeah, but we didn't take them on. But but if someone else wants to do it, that's okay. Everybody has their limits.
As long as the knowledge is there.
Exactly.
And
So
what
and
the risks
we
are.
educate that. Like, we had Sarah, our secretary, educate this woman as to why there was someone right before Pesach who called us. She was 38 weeks. She dropped her doctor. She decided she wants to hire a doula that's going to help her deliver at home. Sarah gave her guidance. She told her which provider she should switch to if she wants a safe home birth. She explained to her the risks and the benefits. She told her the whole 9 yards. She also told her that as a company, we won't be taking her on as a client.
She ended up doing a free birth.
Well, she didn't take any of us, so I guess so. I don't know. But I've had the opposite, where somebody understood and heard the risks and benefits and actually did switch over to a safe home birth midwife and had a safe home birth. So it could go both ways. But
I understand why somebody would want a free birth. Just like they have trauma or.
so I find a lot of times it's really boils down to key and education and not understanding the difference between a safe home birth versus free birth but that's another whole topic in itself, and that's a different episode. So anyways, let's wrap it up.
Never next step.
Because we don't want people to be bored, is back to choosing the right doula for you. If you have any questions, feel free to post it. We'll answer it for you. But as we said, we have a free downloadable PDF with a checklist that you could print out. And when you're doing your research and Googling and calling your doulas, ask these questions. The PDF is available on www.vickydoula.services. It's under free downloadable doula PDF, as well as www.gentlebeginnings.life, which is Toby Deitch's website as well. Well, that's a wrap.
This was fun.
Bye.
Bye.